Have you ever wondered how hyperspace in Star Wars actually works? Because when a ship engages its hyperdrive, it's not just flying really fast. No, it's something far crazier than that, and it can have some disastrous consequences. So join me today, friends, as we take a look at hyperspace travel, meet the people and technology involved in making it work, and explore the dark and disturbing side of hyperspace. The origins of hyperspace travel in the Star Wars universe dates back many thousands of years prior to the events of the original Star Wars trilogy. Early space pioneers initially studied and tracked Purrgil, a species of massive whales native to deep space. And these whales had the innate ability to create tunnels that allowed them to enter hyperspace and fly through it. From their studies of the Purrgil, these early civilizations were able to develop the first instances of hyperdrive technology. Prior to this, when a species wished to travel vast distances in space, they utilized sleeper ships that would preserve the inhabitants in carbonite. Now, it's not entirely clear which species was the first to develop hyperdrive technology. In the no longer canon Star Wars Legends universe, the Rakata and their Infinite Empire were one of the first species to explore hyperspace, thanks to hyperdrives assisted by the power of the Force. However, in current Star Wars Disney canon, which the rest of this video will be based off, the Rakata are hardly mentioned, but we do hear from at least one source that the Doros species were one of the first to invent hyperdrive technology, but like I said, it's not entirely certain. But hyperspace itself is also not certain, with aspects of it remaining a mystery to scientists even during the time of the New Republic. The most rudimentary definition of hyperspace is that it's a separate dimension of space, used to travel across vast distances. Essentially, the Star Wars galaxy exists in what we would call real space, just as our own galaxy does. But at some point, residents of the galaxy discovered a different dimension that didn't adhere to the same speed barriers that limit real space, allowing ships to travel far faster than the speed of light. To access hyperspace, a ship needs to reach and inevitably surpass light speed. Ships do this via their hyperdrive, which quickly propels the ship to light speed and basically breaks through the barrier from real space into hyperspace. Once in hyperspace, the normal laws of space and time do not apply, so beings traveling through hyperspace would sometimes use stasis fields to slow the passage of time on board a hyperspace-going vessel, in order to have the pilot age as fast as the rest of the galaxy in real space. With the discovery of hyperdrive tech, the civilizations of the core worlds grew, colonizing planets, discovering new species, and expanding the borders of the Galactic Republic. This is best seen during the era of the High Republic, a few hundred years before the main Star Wars films. During this period, the Republic, fueled by a need for more space, thanks to the core worlds such as Coruscant, Corellia, and Alderaan becoming overcrowded, began a great hyperspace rush, in which brave and ambitious hyperspace prospectors began to map out new lanes through hyperspace to the Outer Rim territories, allowing the Republic's Pathfinder teams to venture deep into the Outer Rim to bring the far-flung worlds of the galaxy together. And the job of prospecting these new hyperspace lanes from the core to the Outer Rim worlds was a dangerous and tricky one, as the boundaries of hyperspace mirrored that of real space, meaning that each point in real space was associated with a unique point in hyperspace, and all adjacent points in real space were adjacent points in hyperspace as well. And as such, hyperspace was not a vast, empty dimension that ships could recklessly fly through. Every object in real space, such as stars, planets, and asteroids, had its own gravitational shadow counterpart in hyperspace. This meant that the hyperspace lanes connecting planets would need to be carefully surveyed to clarify that they were indeed safe for ships to travel without colliding into the gravitational shadow of real space celestial bodies. The intricate network of hyperspace lanes that crisscross the galaxy play a vital role in facilitating trade, diplomacy, and communication between star systems, and as a result, there's big money to be made in the hyperlane business, which is why intrepid hyperspace prospectors such as the Santeca clan regularly face dangers such as black holes, supernovas, and hyperspace madness, just so that they can find newer and more efficient paths through hyperspace, and sell that data to the highest bidder. who were often avaricious corporations looking to charge spacefarers to use their lanes. Some companies even paid settlers to inhabit harsh, faraway worlds, in the hope that a nearby hyperlane would turn the outpost into an important hub of commerce and transport in the sector. And as the known galaxy expanded, some of these worlds that once thrived due to their proximity to nearby hyperlanes, such as Jeddah, would become desolate backwaters thanks to newer, less winding and more direct hyperlanes taking traffic away from the region. While these established hyperlanes may be well trodden and marked as safe, they still required careful navigation. In the early days, the calculations required for a successful hyperspace jump were carried out by hyperspace beacons at each end of a hyperlane, which would transmit jump calculations to nearby ships, allowing them to make their jump to hyperspace. As technology advanced enough for most ships to be fitted with either their own navicomputer or an astromech droid, these beacons became redundant due to the ships now being able to plot their own paths through hyperspace independent of the beacons. In more recent times, hyperspace technology and understanding of hyperspace itself has continued to advance, with new innovations like the Galactic Empire's Interdictor vessels, large starships capable of generating gravity wells strong enough to pull nearby ships violently out of hyperspace. And there's also the First Order's Starkiller base, which was capable of firing a beam of phantom energy that tore through hyperspace to strike at planets located vast distances away. Despite the many safeguards in place, hyperspace travel is not without its perils. Numerous disasters have occurred throughout history, with ships being lost or destroyed due to miscalculations or unforeseen hazards. Most notable of these was the Great Hyperspace Disaster during the High Republic era, when a starship called the Legacy Run, that was heading for the Outer Rim, attempted to veer out the way of an enemy ship heading toward it whilst in hyperspace. The Legacy Run did avoid the ship. However, the stress of making this maneuver tore the Legacy Run apart and sent debris crashing out of hyperspace on a destructive path towards the Hetzal system, endangering billions. What are your thoughts on hyperspace? Would you become one of these early hyperspace prospectors, risking it all for untold riches? Let me know down in the comments and make sure to subscribe for more lore. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.